All right, guys, welcome back. So what I got today is a really typical handyman job from one of my property managers. I got the initial work order that said that I had a doorknob that wasn't working correctly. Sounds to me like it's probably going to be the latch. And then I got a second work order for the same address for a new problem that the tenant submitted separately, which was a dryer duct that had fallen off the wall. So I'm going to build the work orders real quick, and then we're going to do the job together, and then I'm going to show you the invoicing, and you can kind of take this job beginning to end with me. So first of all, I've already built the work order up top as far as choosing the client and stuff. So every one of these is going to say original request. And then inside that original request, now this is the actual open work order right here on the left. So inside there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to the detailed description, and I'm going to copy just this part that's actually the tenant's description and paste it into here verbatim. And there's a picture of the doorknob right there, and all it says is back door handle is jammed. Typically, that means one of two things. Either the door itself is jammed in the frame, or it means that the latching mechanism for the doorknob is just not really retracting in all the way, which causes people to call it jammed. And then we can go back to the other work order for the same property, which is this dryer vent is detached. And we'll just scroll down real quick to the detailed description here, copy that, copy, and we'll paste that in here as well. So now I've got the description in here, and I'm going to go ahead and save this job. So the next thing I'm going to do is use text messaging to schedule with the tenant. And the reason I use text messaging is so everything is always in writing and nobody can ever claim that somebody did or didn't say something. So the text message says, "Howdy, this is Ray Duke with my company name, Property Maintenance. We received a work order from other company name to repair a door and a dryer duct at your rental on Helen Street." So what I've done here is I've given them enough information to feel comfortable that I'm the handyman sent by that company to work on their property. Our next availability is going to be Friday morning for arrival between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. So I gave them a window for arrival, much harder to be late. And we expect this job to take between 1.5 and 2.5 hours. I've set a standard for how long I'll need them to stay at the house. Can an adult 18 years old or older be present at the property this Friday, August 14th, for the duration from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for us to complete these repairs? Everything that needs to be said has been said, and I didn't ask what their schedule was. I told them what my schedule was, and they replied back, "Yes, thanks for contacting us to schedule. See you Friday." So we've got the scheduling done. Next step is to show up and actually do the job. So now I'll take you through the job. So I showed up and the lady was extremely nice. She took me to the back door and showed me what was going on. It was, in fact, the latching mechanism. So luckily, I have my kits with me. I went inside with my door kit because I was working on a door. And as you can see from the kit, I have latches inside this kit. So I removed the doorknob, I removed the latch, I put a new latch in, put the existing doorknob back around that new latch, tested the door. Everything worked beautifully. That's the point of these kits. I didn't have to go to Home Depot. I didn't have to go rummage around through the van to figure out where I might have a door latch. I didn't have to go take apart some new doorknob kit just to get a latch from that new doorknob. I had a kit. It had latches in it already. I put the latch in, tested the door, done with that job. Then the lady showed me another door that wasn't on that original work order to the garage in the backyard, where the whole doorknob had just fallen off. So luckily, what that one was just the screws had come loose and it allowed everything to just fall off. All the parts were still there. I put it all back together, tightened it down, tested it, everything worked fine, and then I went back inside to work on the dryer duct. Now, the dryer duct was a different story, but it wasn't all that difficult. And what we had was a hole way up on the wall that the dryer duct was supposed to plug into, and then we had the duct way down here separated from the wall. Now, what I couldn't figure out is how it was supposed to have even been seated up on the wall to begin with, because there didn't seem to be any attachment hardware other than a plastic ring that was still up on the wall above, but the ring didn't seem to grab anything. Oh yeah, by the way, September 1st through 5th, we're having the very first class, the inaugural class of Founders and Fathers Technical College. I'm flying Ricky, Mark, and Jack here to Tucson. I'm paying for it, putting them up at the Handyman headquarters, providing all of the meals, and we are going to dive into their business for 5 days here from September 1st through 5th. And you guys are invited to future classes of this. All you got to do is go to bulletproofhandyman.com and scroll down to that events tab, and you'll see an event there for it. It's an interest list. You can also get your application started, but that's how you get started in the process of hopefully coming to one of these future Founders and Fathers Technical College events. And this is sponsored by 𝗪𝗪. I can't pay for this out of my pocket. 𝗪𝗪 paid for all of this. 𝗪𝗪's the reason that I'm able to fly y'all in and do this, and they're also part of the reason that I just get to do all of this content for you in general, because I got a family to provide for too. And if you don't know what 𝗪𝗪 is a business phone, but it lives in an app on your actual personal phone so that you don't need to have two phones. They've got an AI receptionist. They take you through the 10 DLC registration stuff with the federal government so you can legally text all of your clients from your business phone number. And by the way, getting that is also going to make it possible for you to do some mass texting in the future to actually use that as your marketing method. But anyways, go to the description of this video, click on the link for 𝗪𝗪, go check out their product. Don't buy it if it's not right for you, but do check it out, and do tell them thank you for sponsoring the first inaugural Founders and Fathers Technical College class, and for their general sponsorship of this channel overall, because that's what makes it possible for me to do this for you. So here's what I did, is I took my shears and I cut some tabs down the side of the duct, and I pulled those tabs back. So now I had 3 nice pretty tabs sticking out from the duct that the ring wasn't able to slide back past. And then I picked the whole duct back up, pushed it into its hole where it's supposed to exhaust from, slid the ring forward, and then put the screws through the ring into the metal tabs also. So now we've got the metal tabs of the dryer duct actually attached to the wall, but all being held in place with this big plastic ring to sort of disperse a little bit of the pressure. And that honestly went really well. Probably didn't take more than about 30 minutes beginning to end. So then finally the last step with property managers, at least, because I have to give them pictures, is to take pictures of all my work. So I took all the pictures of the work, uploaded them through the Jobber app, and came home to invoice. So now it's time to actually go in here and invoice this job. So back inside Jobber here, we're going to add our line items to show what work we did and what materials we used. Notice over here on the right, these are the 3 pictures I uploaded for evidence that I did in fact fix the things that they sent me to fix. Click on this edit button, add line item, and we're going to say labor. And then I'm going to type in a description of everything I did. Upon arrival, we found the issue with the back door to be the latching mechanism was worn out and not allowing the latch to fully retract, causing the door to stay stuck. We removed the doorknob, removed the latch, installed a new latch, and reinstalled the doorknob. We then tested and adjusted the door to close and latch properly. The tenant also pointed out an additional doorknob on the garage in the backyard that had fallen off completely. This doorknob still had all of the hardware, and we were able to reinstall and test and adjust also. The dryer vent had fallen, and we could not see anything that had previously been there to hold it up, but there was a plastic ring still in place on the wall. We removed the ring, slid it over the ducting, and modified the ducting to have 3 metal attachment wings. We then installed the ducting to the exhaust hole and slid the ring up to the new wings and secured the ring over the wings with screws. This duct is now securely fitted in place. And this, guys, is still inside the job. So now what we need to do is turn this into an invoice. So let's go ahead and click Save. Scroll up to the top here, and we're going to say More, Close Job, and Close Job. Now that we've closed the job, we have a Create Invoice button. So let's copy. Hold on. We're going to copy the title that I put at the top here. Click Create Invoice. Select the first one at the top that comes up. That's the one we just came from. And then in the subject line right here, we're going to paste the title that we just had from the previous one. And now inside this invoice, all we need to do is double check everything. We've still got the original request, and we've got this labor line, and we can add the pricing here. So the pricing is going to be $150 initially just to show up and do any job. That's my trip fee. So let's call the doorknob $150. The second doorknob, I'm not going to charge anything extra for. It only took me a couple extra minutes. I feel comfortable putting both of those doorknobs into that trip fee. However, I did a dryer duct, and that was an additional half hour or so. So if I want to make sure that on the job, billable time with tools in hand, that I'm making a minimum of $100 an hour, then that half hour I need to charge at least $50 for. I'm going to charge $80 because I just feel like that's a fair rate. which means I'm making more than $100 an hour for that time too. So 150 trip fee plus the 80 for the dryer duct is going to bring us to $230 in labor for this job. And add a line item, and let's do materials right there. And the materials are pretty simple. We have a doorknob, latch, and we have screws. That's really all we need right there. So the total for this, I know that latch was something like $11, I think. So I'm just going to charge about $16. We'll make sure I don't lose any money on that latch plus a few screws. $16. Go ahead and save this invoice. And this client likes to have their invoices uploaded as a PDF into their software. So once again, in case you don't still have it in your clipboard, you copy that title there, and let's say print or save PDF. And then once that comes up, right click save as. It's going to come up already inside the folder that I put all of these invoices in, paste and save. And now we've got that fully saved. So I'll go over into the client software and just upload that invoice, mark that job complete, and make sure that those pictures get uploaded onto the client side as well. By the way, if you go to bulletproofhandyman.com, there's also a free jobber webinar coming up at the end of this month. I do these pretty much every month. You can go there and get registered and show up at the webinar, and I'm going to take you into my jobber software and actually show you the entire process that I use beginning to end to manage all of my jobs and my actual handyman business with Jobber. And if you want to get a free trial of Jobber, go to the description of this video and click on my link. And if you do end up purchasing, it's going to get you 20% off for the first 6 months. And what I recommend is that you get your free trial and time it so that you're near the end of your free trial at the same time that I do the webinar. That way you can play with it, come to the webinar, ask the questions you need, learn all the additional things you didn't know, and then make that decision about whether or not you're going to purchase right before your free trial expires. This was an absolutely typical handyman job, just like any other handyman job. And the goal is to just string 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 of these together a day at $150 each minimum. And by the way, I was at this property less than an hour and I charged $230 labor. Even if you include my drive time to the property, I'm still making way over $100 an hour for all of the time invested, even though I'm only looking at my time on the job with tools in hand as my billable hours. I'm still billing enough for those billable hours to not drop below that $100 an hour, even for all the time that I have invested into this job. So if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. I answer every single comment. You can also email me at bulletproofhandymanbusiness@gmail.com. And don't forget to go to bulletproofhandyman.com to get yourself signed up for one of these future Founders and Fathers Technical College classes. And don't forget to click that link in the description and go check out 𝗪𝗪 and tell 𝗪𝗪 thank you for everything they're doing for us. Otherwise, I love you guys. I hope you're out there killing it, and I'll see y'all on the next one.